I'm an atheist. That's a label that I choose for myself. And if you disagree with me, if you think that I don't live up to the definition of an atheist, what are you going to do? Throw the dictionary at me? But I don't consider it to be my primary identity. Possibly because of where I grew up and when I grew up and how I grew up, which left me with the conviction that the enemies of atheism, the alternative to atheism, is weak and ultimately doomed. Call me deluded if you will, but it's very hard to break free of the convictions of childhood. But if you're an atheist and you value the truth, you must recognize that in a world without atheists, theists would still be theists. They would still have all their theistic activities and theistic ideas to occupy themselves. And in fact, it would be a lot better for the theist mentality to live in a world without atheists. On the other hand, in a world without theists, it might be better for atheists, but they wouldn't know it. They'd be sitting around saying, I feel like there's a label that's very important to me. It has to do with something I don't believe, but I'm just not sure what. What is it that I don't believe? Or is it that I actively don't believe something, or that I have a lack of belief in something? I just feel a great void in my life. My label is unknowable, and the definition of it is beyond my understanding. Okay, this is a lame joke, perhaps, but I just can't believe how many of my fellow YouTube atheists have made an icon out of what is essentially a reactionary intellectual stance. Valid, or I wouldn't label myself an atheist, but nevertheless reactionary, and something that should be, at the very least, in position 2 in your self-definition under empirical scientist or secular humanist or something else, something that you can continue doing in the absence of theism. Another thing I am is a non-Spaniard. I am definitely a non-Spaniard. There is no way that I can figure out how I could be called a Spaniard. There's nothing of Spain in me. But if I went around telling everyone all the time, I'm a non-Spaniard, I'm not a Spaniard. Have I mentioned to you that you are looking at a non-Spaniard? There would be something wrong with me. Unless Spain was lording it over me and making my life a hell, or just annoying me, then I would have a reason for saying, well, I'm not none of that. I'm not a Spaniard. It's the same way that a lot of non-Americans think quite often how they are not Americans. It's because America lords it over the world. And I think that the set of people who feel that theists lord it with reason, and with good reason, and so do Americans, those two groups overlap quite a bit, I think, unless of course you're Islamic. So all I'm trying to say to the atheist community at this moment, when there's been an eruption of threats of organization, of threats of useful activity, all I'm trying to say is that to call yourself an atheist and to be an atheist is a useful label and perhaps a useful activity if done in the right spirit, but it's a badge of resistance, not a badge of honor. You have to find your honor somewhere else.